So, Raphael,
Oh,
what is happening? It feels like
another chair!
Oh, I feel dizzy. Oh nine, did that happen to you too?
Yeah?
Yeah, then it must have happened to her. Go look for the impact. We still have job to do anyway. I'll do it. I'll keep it on. I'll take it on. A tragedy at the age of 37 stole away from us one of the greatest minds that ever lived and influenced the art world. A man who, even with his life being very short, did leave us a legacy that is very beautiful and enduring. And today, I aim to go through that, to honor it. So, the story begins in the bustling city of Urbino, Italy. On April 6, 1483, the newest addition into a family of artists he is. His father, Giovanni Santi, was a painter and a poet.
What did he write?
Nothing much, just some poems about dukes and patrons. They weren't that highly thought of either, but still checks out. Regarding that, he was the one that guided Raphael and helped him to take his first steps on his glory way. A father figure he wished to have but never did. And one of this man's most famous works, the Virgin and Child, something that resembled a ton of attributes of late Gothic style. And when it comes to his mother, Maria di Battista Chiara, she came from a wealthy family. So while not being an artist herself, she likely contributed to the nurturing of Raphael's intellectual and artistic inclinations through her family's influence.
I got family.
Although she didn't create art, her support and the family's social connections would have provided him with opportunities to develop his artistic talents, making him grow up in an artistic and intellectually stimulating environment, which undoubtedly played a crucial role in shaping him and his creative instincts. Raphael's early artistic education wasn't only born on his father's shoulders. Pietro Perugino was the one who incubated it to blossom. But first, who was Perugino? Perugino was a respected painter of his time, one of whom played a significant role in setting up what the Umbrian school of painting is. And under Perugino, Raphael honed his skills and emphasized learning intricacies of both perspective and composition. One of his notable early works is the Sopozalizio, or the Marriage of the Virgin, a work that is coated in Perugino's style and influence. There is even a version of it that is said that Raphael drew inspiration from. One of the most prominent elements that reflect Perugino's guidance on Raphael here is the use of linear perspective and balanced composition. Linear perspective being a hallmark of Renaissance art, Perugino was a master of this technique. In the Marriage of the Virgin, we can observe the careful placement of architectural elements, such as the archway and the columns. These elements are meticulously designed to create the illusion of depth and distance instead of a single vanishing point, as you can see that not all the main lines are driving to a shared point. The depth Raphael created using the architectural elements was used for drawing the viewer further and further into the painting, and flanking the central figures by secondary figures that draw the background. It helps in creating a harmonious and well-organized composition that lures you more and more into the canvas to taste the feeling Raphael wanted to give you and hear the priest asking the questions, the couple giving their oaths, and the people around them cheering only by looking enough. As Raphael continued to learn from Perugino, he gradually developed his unique style, characterized by soft, graceful figures and a more sophisticated use of color. This evolution is evident in works like the Mond Crucifixion, where his individual artistic voice begins to shine through, even with it being inspired by a similar painting of his masters. But as you can see here, Raphael resorted to the principles of symmetry, balance, and harmony. As you can see, the sun and moon appear together in the sky, both covered partially with clouds. Two angels with golden chalices collecting the falling drops of Jesus' blood. Two people on their knees being Mary Magdalene and Saint Jerome, and two people standing whom are John the Evangelist and Mother Mary. And the cross divides the canvas and its elements technically into two almost identical halves. The setting shows a landscape background with dark sky, suggesting the tragic nature of the Crucifixion. The crosses are set on a hill with Jerusalem shown in the distance, with details like the moon having a face, which really can have many meanings, as the moon having a face was a sign of the Renaissance, or it can mean that the moon, as the ruler of the sky, is sad for the crucifixion of Jesus, and Saint Jerome holding a stone with which the hermit would piously beat his own chest. The poses of the figures echo classical antiquity, with the contrapposto stance seen in the Virgin Mary, and the fluid is shaped curved of Mary Magdalene's body. Raphael renders the figures with idealized beauty and serenity even in their grief, reflecting the new Platonic views of his time about the transcendent nature of the sacred. Yes, one of Raphael's most renowned works is the School of Athens, part of the Vatican's Apostolic Palace. This fresco brilliantly combines classical philosophy and the Renaissance spirit, and is personally my favorite work of his. Standing with 500 centimeters in width and 770 centimeters in length, or 200 and 300 inches respectively, this massive thing didn't take him more than 2 years, from 1509 to 1511, which just blows up my mind. The composition is a masterpiece of perspective, featuring a gathering of philosophers from different eras, with Plato and Aristotle at the center, engaged in deep conversation. The arrangement reflects the classical idea of the interplay between idealism, Plato, and empirical knowledge, Aristotle, with them both holding books that refers to their ideas, as Plato was holding a copy of his book Timaeus, and Aristotle is holding Nicomachean Ethics. Also, the use of linear perspective between them two not only creates the fresco step and draws your eyes toward the vanishing point between them, it also distinctively established the interplay we mentioned before. And on each side of them, you can find a gathering of renowned philosophers, mathematicians, and scientists from various historical periods, as Raphael meticulously portrayed each figure, making of it a visual encyclopedia of philosophical thought. Like, for example, the inclusion of Pythagoras and Euclid. Famous mathematicians emphasize the importance of mathematics in philosophy and science. Pythagoras, known for a theorem in geometry, and Euclid, who wrote the foundational work Elements. You also can find Socrates, often considered the father of Western philosophy, and Diogenes, a prominent figure in the Cynic school of philosophy. Both represent different approaches to philosophical inquiry, as Socrates, depicted in a contemplative posture, reflects the Socrates method of questioning and dialogue, while Diogenes, on the other hand, is portrayed as a homeless ascetic, symbolizing the rejection of materialism and the pursuit of the virtue. And back to Plato and Aristotle, it doesn't as resemblance of their ideology, but also as anchors for composition, with other philosophers arranged almost symmetrically, a balance that creates a sense of harmony and order, reflecting the idea of a well-ordered and rational universe, a fundamental concept in both classical and Renaissance thought. The good old days before the chaos theory. You can also figure out characters that are kind of chimera, made of two people, like you can see with Michelangelo and Heraclitus, trying to collect a best of both worlds into one complete character that has facial elements of each of theirs. The School of Athens is rich in other symbolisms too, as various elements within the fresco carry meaning. For example, the invisible basketballs Plato and Aristotle have in hand, or the architecture in the background resemble the grandeur of Roman and Greek buildings, and serves as a reminder of the classical roots of philosophy. The use of color and light also conveys symbolic meaning, with brighter colors in the center and darker shades toward the periphery, emphasizing the importance of the central figures. And speaking of lighting, he used two techniques in his works. First is chiaroscuro, which employs strong contrast between light and shadow, adds a sense of volume and dimension to the figures, and the architecture, as I said, mostly he cared of his works having depth more than anything else. Evident it is in the modeling of the philosophers' robes and the folds of their garments. Secondly, the light source in the fresco appears to come from a source outside the painting, creating naturalistic shadow that define the figures. This use of light and shadow also imparts a sense of drama to the scene. It is a visually immersive and intellectually stimulating experience. The combination of these elements not only adds depth and realism to the scene, but also conveys the grandeur of the intellectual pursuit of philosophers. And of course, he added himself, yes. Raphael's adult life was defined by remarkable artistic success, profound patronage from the influential figures, particularly Pope Julius II and Pope Leo X, and a lasting legacy that established him as one of the most celebrated painters of the Renaissance. He thrived in the atmosphere of the papal court in Rome, where he created iconic works such as the Vatican Stanza della Signatura fresco and the renowned School of Athens. His contributions included the design of Raphael's cartoons. Raphael's artistic career was marked by excellence in diverse genres, from portraiture to religious and historical paintings, characterized by harmonious composition and idealized figures embodying the essence of High Renaissance with its emphasis on classical forms and humanism. Beyond painting, Raphael ventured into architectural projects and even served as chief architect for St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, showcasing his versatility and mastery in various artistic domains. He even was commissioned to decorate the Stanze di Raffaello, an honor that further cemented his reputation as a Renaissance master. But away from his art, Raphael had a very public, loving relationship with Margherita Luti, known as La Fornarina, who was the daughter of a baker in Rome. Her romantic involvement with Raphael began during his stay in the city, a period during which he created many of his most renowned works. Although the exact timeline of the relationship remains somewhat unclear, but it is believed that it occurred in the early 16th century. Raphael painted a famous portrait of La Fornarina, capturing her with long, flowing hair and seductive expression. This artwork is celebrated for its sensuality and the affectionate portrayal of the subject, standing as a masterpiece of portraiture, carrying personal significance, often interpreted as symbol of Raphael's deep love and affection for her, with some art historians even speculating that the painting may have served as a memento of their romantic relationship, and that the sensuous and personal elements of the painting reflect Raphael's more human and emotionally charged approach to portraiture, contrasting with the more idealized and formal portraits of his contemporaries. Their relationship adds an enigmatic and intriguing dimension to the life of one of the greatest Renaissance artists, offering a glimpse into his personal world and the emotional depth that influenced his work. Raphael's artistic prowess and innovative techniques were not confined to his own works alone. His workshop became a breeding ground for artistic talent, nurturing numerous pupils who would go on to make significant contributions to the art world. Among the notable students were Giolo Romano, Pernio della Vaga, and Bildoro di Caravaggio. Under Raphael's mentorship, these artists honed their skills and embedded his artistic principles, carrying his rich legacy forward. Giulio Romano, in particular, became a highly regarded artist and played a crucial role in completing some of Raphael's unfinished works, most notably the frescoes in the Sala di Costantino in the Vatican. His style, influenced by Raphael's techniques, featured a balance of harmonious compositions and deep understanding of human anatomy. As for Pernio della Vaga, known for his mastery of frescoes, painting mythological subjects, absorbed Raphael's emphasis on classical forms and idealized figures, and he went on to create the stunning frescoes in various Italian cities, solidifying their reputation as a skilled Renaissance artist. While Polidoro di Caravaggio also benefited from Raphael's guidance, was known for his contribution to the fields of Mannerist painting that followed the High Renaissance, demonstrate Raphael's ability to inspire a range of artistic expressions in his pupils' avant-garde styles. These three, Raphael left an enduring artistic legacy, not just through his own masterpieces, but also through the artists he mentored. Today, Raphael's works remains a source of fascination and admiration by audience worldwide. The enduring appeal of his art speaks its timeless beauty and the way it continues to resonate with the viewers worldwide.